We are starting to make our pinch pots. And so before we actually start pinching and making the pots, make sure that you have your slip container near you, that you have a tray. It's either going to be a piece of wood or one of these circular trays that your project can sit on. And then you want to have all of your tools. Every toolbox looks different. You probably won't use the sponge today. You might use your rib. Then I have just a bunch of random tools. I'm gonna pull all these out. Set my toolbox aside, because I'll be using some of these. You'll want to make sure your tub where your good clay is gonna go is near you. Your bag for your old clay. You're just gonna need a little bit of everything to get started. So from me, you have gotten a new chunk of clay. From this chunk, you want to make 3 pinch pots. And so I'm going to break this up. 1, 2, 3. And my pinch pots are all different sizes. And they're going to be different shapes, so my 3 chunks of clay do not need to be even. If you are making pinch pots that nest inside of one another, you're going to have a small ball of clay, a medium, and a large. Let's get started. To start with a pinch pot, you want to squish your clay and you want to form it into a ball. Now the ball doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to get as close as you can. I like to roll the clay in my hands. Some people prefer to roll it on a table, but it's rolling and squishing. And I'm actually going to do that with all 3 so I can see the sizes that I have. And that's going to help me determine if I want to take some clay out of one of these. But again, your pinch pots are not going to be very big. So you can see this one is a little bit smaller, and that's okay. These are about the same size. This is my extra clay that I'm going to use to attach feet and different things. This extra clay, you don't want it to sit out in the air because it's going to start to get dry. So you want to get a damp paper towel. I'm going to kind of wrap it up, and then I'm going to set it in my bucket while I'm building my pinch pots. I've closed the lid. Now when we start pinching and making the pinch pot, you want to find a place to push your thumb in. And your thumb and then your outer fingers are what's going to do the pinching. Now, a common mistake is that students like to pinch too hard, so they squeeze their fingers too hard and they pinch too fast. And that's going to make a very thin pinch pot that could break. So you just want to learn to control your pinching. So I'm going to pinch a little bit, and then I turn my hand and I pinch. I turn and I pinch. And I am just going to continue to do that. I'm not pressing very hard, but I'm going to turn and pinch. You can see it's starting to turn into a pinch pot. Once that hole is big enough, you can start to get 2 of your thumbs in there. And I'm just turning and pinching. Also, I'm not just pinching at the top, I'm putting my thumb near the bottom and pinching at the base. I want this to be as even as possible. And so I'm kind of moving up and down, and I'm just pinching a little bit. Now, if I look at my bowl right now, it looks fairly even around the top. I can feel the thickness of it, and it feels pretty even. Sometimes I like to take it and just tap it. You can even tap it on the table. That's going to help you to see, oh, it's a little bit thicker on this side. And that is the shape that I want. You know, if you wanted to squish it to make it a different shape, you could do that. You could press it in. The clay is going to do whatever you want it to do. Clay is very moldable. I think I kind of like it like this. I'm not going to worry about these cracks yet. I'm just going to set this one aside. Let's go through, let's do another one together. This chunk of clay is bigger. So I'm going to find a spot, I'm going to stick my thumb in there. And again, I'm going to pinch and turn, pinch and turn. And I'm not squeezing too hard, it's just a little bit to get started. Now let's compare. If you look at this one, this wall is very thick. I need to do more pinching. If I feel the bottom compared to this one, also very thick. So I'm going to have to do some pinching at the bottom. I'm going to get both fingers in there. If I want my bowl to get wider, as I'm pinching outward. If I want it to get taller, I'm going to kind of pinch up the sides. Okay? Right now I just want to get it as uniform as I possibly can. And you're going to see this one is going to be much bigger. Remember, not just pinching at the tops, but pinching towards the bottom. Feeling for any unevenness. I'm going to do the tap. Okay. And then I'm just going to leave it like this circle for now. I'll come back at it and shape it if I want to. Now this Now, my next step, I would typically have my sketchbook here. My idea for these was to have feet on them all, so they all stand a little bit taller. So I'm going to attach the feet. So I'm going to need that clay out of my bucket that I've been keeping hydrated with the paper towel. Throw that in the bucket. Now, I am going to shape the feet for these different pots. I think I just kind of want some cylinder-like feet to start. I want them kind of the same-ish height, if I can get there. If you want something to have an even surface, again, just use your table, tap the clay, and it's going to become flat. I'm going to attach to the bottom of this pot. Now we've talked about scoring and slipping, but you haven't seen it in action. I could just stick this on and it looks like it's going to stay, but in the kiln, that foot is going to fall off. So you're going to need your slip and you're going to need a scoring tool. Now in your bucket, there's lots of things that could be used for scoring. You could use a fork. If you have a rib that has like these edges, you could use that edge. I have this little scrapey tool. You might have a modeling tool that has like this fork-like edge. I want to see, let's see, I think I want them to go like that. So I've kind of got them placed. I'm going to take that off and I'm going to score. So that's making little lines in your clay, little cross hatches. I'm going to score the pot and the foot. You want to score the clay wherever it's going to touch together. And so this piece will touch right there. So I've scored both. And then you can use your finger, that's what I typically do. Or if you want to use a paintbrush, you want to put a little bit of slip on there. You want to paint over your scoring marks on both. So you've scored, you've slipped, now you're going to stick it on there, and I stick and I wiggle and I kind of twist it so that it stays. I'm going to do that to the other ones. Score this piece. Here, I'll show you. I could use a fork and score. Just roughen that up. Slip. Stick and wiggle. Stick and wiggle. You can see this one didn't even move when I did that. So you want to stick and wiggle. Now before I attach the last one, you can see on here where these two attach. There's that seam. I don't want to see that. So what I'm going to do, I like to use a modeling tool, and I like to just kind of push down the clay. Oh, let me see. Because I'm going to smooth that out eventually. I just want it to look like it's one piece. So I'm going to do that right now with these two legs because I have them on here. And you can use your finger. I just think this tool works really well. But you're going to find what works well for you. Just smoothing that seam. Then I'm definitely going to use my finger. Sometimes I like to have water near me because water can kind of help. So I'm just going to dip in here a little. All right. So now it looks like this leg right here, it's one piece because I covered up that seam. I'm going to do it to that one and my third leg.